Unu eburu na mweje rielọta enwe ahịa dị ka ya. Unu eburu na mweje fọlọta enwe ahịa dị ka ya. Unu eburu. What's up, family and friends? Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth. We are feel free to share knowledge and spread the knowledge of factual truth without fear, without favor, and without faint. Where we encourage us to live our lives and live it well through the knowledge of factual truth, and personally encourage you to enjoy your life. Don't let anyone bother your life. Don't let anyone intimidate your life. Don't let anyone make you suspend or postpone what you already plan to do for yourself. Do you put you first? Don't put any God first but you. You are not God, you are both God. Putting yourself to the level of God or maybe under God is a self insult, self hate, and first self destruction. That's what you just did. And that's why they tell you to do what? Fear God. Fear God. Honor the king. These two evils. Say you fear and honor them. So you remain obedient or happy slave under them. So today I'm sharing with us what I titled Slaves and the Masters. This is one of the Slavery is one of the topics that when you bring it up, Christians or theists try to dodge it because in their text it shows that their God instituted it, their God supported it, but they try to be like, oh no, we have New Testament now, all things are new. They think maybe you didn't read the New Testament, you only read the Old Testament. But they don't know that the New Testament even make the slavery, like make slaves to be happy slaves. In the Old Testament, it did not make them to be happy slaves. They were just hostile to them. Then in the New Testament, they tell slaves, even the ones that are hostile and one not hostile, just remain obedient. Pretend like you are serving the Lord, the one that will judge you and that slave master. You know, and you know that slave master, God will not condemn him. You know why? Because God will reward him of taking care of you as his slave. You don't know that. It's just like what is going on today in Africa. Africans, they make money, they think they have succeeded and life is okay. No, no, we are no longer slaves. No, oh, no. Having money does not disqualify you from being slave. If you want to be free from slavery, all you need is knowledge of factual truth. Making money, building things, does not make you slaves. Build things too. Slaves build things, but they are building it under the authority of their master, under the influence of their master. I was having a word with one of my friends on Facebook. So I'm talking about our people. He say he no longer blame white people. He blame our people because those things white people did to us, we are doing it ourselves. Now I say no. Pointing our people to the reason why we are still suffering today is not blaming white people, it's being factual. Because for you to treat any injury or any sickness or disease, especially disease, you have to diagnose to know the cause of it. You don't ignore it and say that you're just treating whatever the person tell you. That's why they have the machine where they can take your blood, go check, find out, what's up, what's going on. They take every time they take viral signs to know how to treat you. You don't just believe something or sweep something under the rug because now you think, okay, look, I'm trying to make things better. What? If you lack the knowledge of the past, you will never achieve in the future whatever you're struggling today to achieve. You will never. That's why all the African revolutionaries, they have been failing because you have to go to the core first until you uproot the taproot. The tree still stand. You can remove the fruit, the tree still stand. You can remove the leaves, the tree still stand. You can remove the branches, the tree still stand. Even the trunk, the tree still stand. But anytime you succeed in removing the taproot, the tree will just die. For Africans to stop suffering, we must go to the taproot, which is white supremacy, and destroy it. Destroy everything that comes with it or came with it. We have to. How can you achieve freedom in Africa when you still have Christianity and Islam and Judaism there? Even spirituality will not allow you to achieve freedom. You have to go to the taproot. It were invaders that brought both spirituality and religion to Africa. They are not original Africans wearing spiritual, wearing religious. They were scientists. They were knowledgeable people. They were nature. Not having slaves and masters as you have today. And you think the masters will allow the slave to live freely? No, they can make you have some percentage of integration, which is why you are playing sports with them and politics with them. They can give you independence. Then you're just like, okay, we don't have them physically as our head now. It's our brother that is there, our brethren. Independence is not freedom. Integration is not freedom. What the master will never allow the slave to have, even though the slave is living far from him, is freedom. Freedom cannot be given just like your life. You staying alive cannot be a gift somebody give to you. You have to struggle to stay alive. That's why you eat. When you are hungry, you eat. When you're thirsty, you drink. You try to continue living because it is your life, and that's why you are living. They will never allow you to have freedom. How can we have freedom in Africa when we still have West education system, banking system, everything in Africa is coated with Western world, no matter what it is, mention it, both spirituality. And that's why I'm calling our people. Until we go to the taproot, to remove everything God and everything that comes with it, because God is another word for white supremacy. Slaves and masters. I tell him, no, we are still slaves. We are still slaves. I don't blame slaves because slaves cannot attack their masters. The masters have weapons, slaves don't. The masters have power, slaves don't. All the slaves have is their mouth. And the only way their mouth what they said will amount to helping them is using their leg to run away from, to run away and get their freedom. Fight. Stand your ground. Use your leg. Stand your ground. But how can we stand when we don't know ourselves yet? Because they use education and the politics, all these things they establish to turn us away from ourselves. It's when maybe something is happening to you, you don't like, you go to native and they tell you, sacrifice, sacrifice. It's like we sacrifice defeat Russia. We sacrifice defeat America. We sacrifice defeat UK. What we as a sacrifice keep deceiving yourself, keeping yourself in bondage. Sacrifice, there is no sacrifice in nature. You don't have sacrifice in nature. It's an evil system, you have sacrifice. And check it is the poor that always sacrifice, the rich don't. Some of you say that, you have to labor to be rich. No, white people did not labor to be rich. They kill to be rich. Look, all the world powers, all of them stole from Africa to be world powers. And that's why they will not allow you to be world powers. You have to get up, Africans, and begin to use your as ancient sciences, which you call voodoo or spirituality, and begin to use them to defeat those people. Build your own weapons too. Slavery is the ownership of a person as a property. Kirk Franklin sang it. I used to play it in Nigeria at that time. God's property. I am God's property. I used to preach it. I am God's property. He purchased me with the blood. I become property. And you say you are free. How can you be a property of God? How can you be a slave of God and still say you are free? You say you are free from sin. No. They tell you are free from sin. Now, bind you again in righteousness. Because another word for righteousness is religion. And what is they say Latin meaning word for religion? Religion, I said to bind again. To bind. And that's what I will show you. They keep binding you again. You think they are free, you know they bind you again. Faith, that's what faith in God does. That's why I say, oh, come on now, you have been saved by faith. Do not be haughty, but fear God. If you don't fear God, you will lose that salvation. If you don't fear God, you will go to hell. Slavery is the ownership of a person as a property, especially in regard to their labor. You are the one benefiting more from their labor. Just like employees as employers today. It's still slavery. But I will show you a lot of things today. Slavery involves compulsory work with the slave's location of work and residence dictated by the party that hold them in bondage. Living in bondage. Oh, not living in bondage, but you are a slave of God. Every slave is living in bondage. You cannot be free and said you are living by the will of someone else, or you are living by the word of someone else, or you're living by if you are living by other person's word, you are a slave to that person. Many of you say you are not a slave of man, but you are a slave of God. You are stupid, and that's why you are a confused person. You are not a slave of man, but you're a slave of God. A slave is a slave, whether you may say it's a spiritual one or physical one or mental one. A slave is a slave. Mentally and physically, as we speak, if I roundabout, Africans remain slaves. In the world, a slave is a person who is a property to another person. A person who is not himself, a person who is not herself. And check every form of slavery. That's what they makes you. Look at a wife. A wife is a woman that is not herself under a man. Slavery. Even children, they brought children under that slavery. If you are stubborn to your parents, you will be stoned to death. Even when your parents are forcing you to go the wrong direction. And you resisted, it will not be well with you. Children, obey your father and your mother. Honor your father and your mother in the Lord. If you don't do it, it shall not be well with you. You will not live long. Bullshit. And you still want me to argue with you about God exists? Fuck that God, slave master. Listen, anytime you hear God, you are hearing about white supremacy. Whether you like it or not, you can argue all you want. And that's why you want to enslave yourself, saying you are God, that you are enslaving yourself now. It doesn't make sense. Slave that enslaving himself. Continue about slavery. He said, enslavement is the placement of a person into slavery. And the person is called a slave or an enslaved person. Welcome to Bible study. Exodus chapter 21. Exodus 21. I will read one from verse 1 to 6, but I think when we go through there, because there's many things I will be reading from there about slavery. But 1 to 6, hear what it says. Read it with me. It doesn't matter the translation you use, it's the same thing. Whether you call it slave or servant, it's still the same thing. Okay, so when you say, I'm servant, that's why I tell you, we are not born to serve. It's only slaves that must serve. It's only slaves that must worship. It's only slaves that does that. The Lord, not the devil, not Satan. The Lord, you are God, the one you say love the whole world. Instead of killing his enemy that is corrupting the whole world, he killed his own son that did not stay dead. Remember what I tell you. They say they deliver you from bondage of sin and now put you in the bondage of what? Righteousness. That's what they do. It's still the same thing going on, slavery. Yeah. You think, okay, now they provide, they gave us this, they build this, but you still there. They still enslaving you. All you have is making noise. You don't even consider your leg. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are one now. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Lord gave Moses the following laws for his people. Everywhere there is law, there is evil. In nature, there is no law. That's why there's no evil in law. But in the system that white people has forced on us, we are under laws. That's why we are suffering evil. Stop blaming yourself. Know the root cause of your problem. Until you know it, sometimes you will blame yourself. You even feeling pity for those who enslave you, saying they are doing you well. Stockholm syndrome. If you buy a Hebrew slave, so there is Hebrew slave and non-Hebrew slaves, and God made it so. Just like they tell you, the rich and poor have one thing in common. He said the same God made them. Wicked God. Why will you make rich and the poor? You're supposed to make all of them rich. They will say you, God loves all of you. Come on, look. Read their book where they wrote about that God. It's a lie. God don't care about you for anything. The more you're suffering, the more he sit back laughing and see this idiot. He believe I created him when he cannot see me. He's stupid. That's why he can never see me in all his sufferings, no matter how long he cries. If you buy a Hebrew slave, he must remain your slave for 6 years. Timetable for Hebrew slave, but no timetable for foreign slave. They are your property forever. Tell me, that's one of the things I will show you tonight also. If you are rich, will you sell any of your son or daughter into slavery? Because that's another part they're not telling you. The same thing that causes poverty causes slavery. It is war. They came with war. That's what causes it. It's not in nature. Africans had no slaves before Arabs and Europeans invaded us. We had no kings and gods before they invaded us. But in the 7th year, you must set him free. Year of liberty. That's why I see some churches, every pastor now used to do the same. This year will be a year of liberty. You are declaring it. So why can't that your God that say let there be light and that was light and say let there be liberty for everybody? He can't do that. But you believe he say let there be light and the light is shining for everybody. On the 7th year, you must set him free without cost to him. If he was single at the time, listen, you see slavery is evil. If he was single at the time you bought him, he alone must be set free. But if he was married, because marriage is slavery. Slavery is not only when you make a person your property by tying the person down or forcing the person to be maybe doing your chores. But if he was married at that time, both he and his wife must be given their freedom. If you imagine you and your children and your wife, all of you in slavery. That's what I just read now. You say it's no longer happening. You are joking. Go to Africa. Africans are still slaves. You see, parents give their 6 years daughter, especially daughters, She go there carrying another person's baby, they are maltreating her, she's not sleeping well, malnourished, and and they still drag her to churches and wherever they're going, these wicked people, and they see them saying loud is good or bullshit, and they are nice people. When you have somebody's child or children enslaved in your house, your children, they don't live like your children are better than them. And you said you're a nice person. You are wicked, you are evil. Show me how you are treating those that are living with you, those you call your house help. Not buying the nice things. No. When your children are sleeping, they are awake, walking in your house. You often send them to go buy something for you, but you don't send your children. There is no life I have not tested. I was born and raised in poverty. So when I'm speaking out of experience. I'm not telling you maybe what they say. No, when it comes to something like this, it's not a joke. I told you from beginning, anytime I see a little child suffering, you see tears coming down my cheek. I hate seeing children or people suffering. That's why when I look at what is going on, I say, listen, if you don't have what it takes, don't deceive people. Don't tell them I will make it happen. You walk and follow me. Like IPOB and all that. You don't have the weapons yet. Stop leading people and they get killed unnecessarily. I support Biafra or anyone fighting for their freedom. I support it 1,000,000 times. But with the knowledge I know, anyone tell you we have Biafra as soon as possible, follow me. Don't. Ask them for their weapon. Let them show you their armors. Let them show you where they have weapons. Okay, let them show you the video. So you can see that we're prepared. Not that you can't people say, oh, yeah, you give them uniform. They don't have weapon. And Nigeria army come, kill them. They didn't kill anyone from Nigeria army. It's supposed to be when they attack you, you are retaliate. Both of you lose. That's what is called war. Not all this one, you make noise, or the noise, they come and silence you. Go to Igbo land, show me how many places you see Biafran flag again. But before IPOB, you used to see Biafran flag in your market, especially market squares. But they were running their mouth without weapon. The same thing, when Gaddafi did the same thing, all the ones you say they killed, the same thing, they killed them because they were not well equipped and running their mouth. It doesn't matter whether you're African or not. Any leader that is running his mouth and is not well equipped is a toy. They will take him out. They know you are a weapon. America will tell you that they are the most powerful, and that's why people don't attack them directly, because they know if you attack them directly, you will blame yourself for it. But you just they tell you something. Hey, we make it, we will have it in this world, and you educated too. You speak grammar more than me. Yet you can't use you are not intelligent. Education doesn't give you intelligence. It cannot make you intelligent. It's natural. And it's not new with you. If you have it. That's who you are. He said, if you give him a wife, I don't know why Christians are no longer giving wives. Okay, the pastors give people wife, okay. But they will not support it with their money. If you give him a wife and they have children, only the man himself must be set free. His wife and the children remain the property of his owner. His wife and his children, God watching them, remain property of the slave master. May thunder fire that you are God. The God that allowed this type of thing, a slave master. That's what they were doing to Africans all over the world, especially in America. Exactly this thing. That's why where the motherfucker came from. They were forcing black boys to impregnate their own mothers. And black people hate such things. But they will do it publicly. Then other slaves will be calling you motherfucker, motherfucker. That's why it's an offensive word. But you think because, oh my man, motherfucker, where have you been? You think it's just like that. That's what some people will tell you, black people don't even supposed to be using such word like nigger, motherfucker. But because the way they, everything, we are slaves now. It is when we have people that we stand go and say any black person or any person that mentioned that word, we will deal with that person. They will stop it. Just talk one thing against Jewish people in America. Look at what happened to Kanye West now. He said Adidas cannot terminate me or something like that. He talked against Jews. He didn't take them a second because he made money through nonsense. He think black people are not powerful people as we speak. We don't have any power in the world. We are slaves. And there is God watching you and your children, your family, living as a property of someone else. And you say it's okay. It's okay. God will reward us. God will do this. Verse 5. But suppose the slave loves his master. That's why I tell you, love is evil. A slave, love his master. They tell you, love your enemies, idiots. The God that could not help your ancestors love you now, right? And the king his son for you. Idiot, you believe that. But suppose the slave love his wife and the children and his owner so much that he won't leave them. Are we not suffering this thing today? That's why you see some women in marriage or relationship that is killing them. They won't leave. They won't leave them, no. I love them. Oh, I love my wife. I love my children. And I love my slave master. I don't want to go free. Freedom, bye-bye. Let me enjoy with my family. It's not my blood. Idiot, you still have the blood. Don't let any wife keep you in bondage. Don't let any husband keep you in bondage. Don't let any child or children keep you in bondage. Don't let anyone make you remain in bondage. Even as a Christian, I fight for divorce. Don't tell me bullshit. Oh, if you marry and that's to keep you in bondage. That's why you see people that have not been living well, but when it comes to hey, we have been married for 50 years. You see, the Lord has been good to us. Liars. Liars. There's nobody enjoying marriage anywhere. Show me one. I will tell you that person is a liar. You know what it means to live with one person like that? Especially those people that they tell them one man, one wife. None of them is enjoying their marriage. But they have mastered pretense. They pretend all is well. All is well. Thank God. Thank God. Because that's if you want to lie for anything, just use God. Your lie is approved. So he said he will not go because he loved his wife and the children and his owner so much that he won't leave them. Then he must stand beside either the door or the doorpost at the place of worship in the presence of God, while his owner punches a small hole through one of his ears with a sharp metal rod. This makes him a slave for life in the presence of God. Fuck that God. I hate that God. You know, if that God exists, I hate it. But God is hated too. Then he must stand beside either the door or the doorpost at the place of worship. No, God is not the one doing that. His people are wicked. His people doing that. It's not God. I used to be atheist, but now I became atheist again because I found out God is not the problem. People is the problem. That's the most dangerous slave ever. That slave will kill the other slaves for the slave master. There are two sides of slavery. No, the first side is the rich man buying the poor. The rich man buying the poor, that's slavery. Then the second part is the poor selling himself to the rich man. Tell me it's not happening, and I will tell you you are stupid. Are people not buying slaves today? They do. Are people not selling themselves as slaves today? They do. When you see a rich man, the driver driving him, yeah, that's his slave. Yes, you cannot be rich and sell yourself. You cannot be rich and be bought by somebody else. It is the poor. I'm telling you, you don't want to listen. This slavery is evil. Marriage is evil. All of them were designed to be taking advantage of the poor. Both of them are rooted in the evil system of white supremacy. Africans weren't doing marriage or slavery before Arabs and Europeans came to Africa, our land. Leviticus 25:39. The Paul says themselves, oh, I used to preach this when I was a pastor. I used to use it to support slavery. Like, yeah, God say you can, you can, when you're poor, you don't have money, you go and work for money now. So, when that's when God can make all of us rich, right? 25. 25 of Leviticus, verse 39. Ebunaga. Ọ nso come on now. He says, suppose some of your people become so poor that they have to sell themselves and become your slaves, like sales girls, housemaids. They sell themselves to you, but their own is not going to be permanent. They still have to go. After they finish serving, you pay them, they go. In Africa, we didn't have that. That's why they tell you we were having multiple women, making many children, because it is you and your household that be doing your works. You don't need slaves. You don't need slaves. That's why we never live saying the reason why we are enslaving ourselves today, living like this, because we are no longer living as a family. We are living as neighbors. You see, brothers of same parents, they made money, they begin to build 5 houses. This one go and build, this one go and build. They don't know they have destroyed their family. Families lives together. Family lives together. That's why our ancestors, they never allowed their children to leave them to go live with another person. Because outside your own family, you are a slave. Outside your own family, you are a slave. Outside your own family, you are a slave. Think, think. That's the one side of slavery. People that sell themselves. That's why I'm against those blaming the prostitutes. They are selling themselves to make money the same way you're selling yourself. When you go serving that man as apprentice, that's the same thing the prostitutes did. Because religion mess up your brain, you think, no, they shouldn't do that. Their body is the temple of God. No, if their father were rich and have them taking care of them, they won't be prostitutes. So blame the parents, not the children. A poor parents must be blamed if they have children. They don't supposed to. Or you are waiting, and that's what we must do. We enforce it. If you are not rich, that means you can show how you are making a living, taking care of yourself and your family. Yeah. That's how we used to do it. But they tell you marriage is between me and my wife. I don't want any third party. But you take them to do some other things, you know. But that third party now, when it's you and your wife. Mm. Wow. I will check it again and I will try to save that song, I think, because I want to use it to be playing my own thing. Ebubedike. Omu Ebubedike. Tubemia Ebubedike. Thank you. Oh, Africans lack a lot of knowledge of self. Many things we don't know. That's why we welcome white people like Bill. One of us say that commented on one of my posts about that. I say it's true. They say some white men you see coming to Africa doing all that nonsense they are doing the core business. They have criminal records in their countries, so but Africans don't investigate that thing. Oh, white man, come. Oh, and they begin to use white man to make money from your people. Oh, oh man, yeah, and they be complaining. Okay, for example, my father have 9 children. Okay, let's say the women they say they have to marry out. Okay, 2 have done. It remain 1. Which if she know, I will tell her, don't marry, just take care of yourself, live your life. But she's stupid too. So I just forget about them. Now, my father died last year. At least he used to maybe every weekend he used to go to village from Onitsha, which I was against also that time. There are certain age they get. I said, listen, just go and live in the village. Then you have children. No matter what, your children will provide them for you like that. No. I don't know what is wrong with our people. Like they like living in the city and visiting their village, and yet they be complaining. You have house in the village where you're not paying rent, but you are living in a city where you are worried. Hey, this month is about to finish. Where will I get to? Let me call this my son. Okay, let me call this person. I need money to pay my rent. Okay, let me go sell land to go pay rent in the city. You sell your land in the village. I'm in America, and I am planning to go back to my compound because nobody's living there right now as we speak. Some people see it as the right thing. Yeah, it's not. You can't pass there and you hear any goat or any chicken. No. And people think that makes sense because I want to be enjoying life in America. I should abandon my own. No, I will never do that. And they will see me. I'm not joking. Unless I have not uttered it. Or, unless I have not thought about it. You say I will not do it when I say I will do it. You are joking. Go stand there and I say you see it's a moving train. Why are you living far away from one another and you complain? That's why people don't fear you, they don't respect you, they don't regard you as anything. Who will come to save you? They tell your family is not by blood. You believe. Nonsense. Exodus 21. It's a pity, man. From verse 7. Now I want to show you about the slave that that is purchased, that is bought. That's the other side of slavery. He said, a young woman who was sold by her father. Please stop giving your daughter's hand in marriage. That is evil. Separating your daughters and your sons is evil. You have them. All of you supposed to live together. They want to have children, they go get pregnant and have children. Your sons also go impregnate somebody. They can decide to live together. It is not by force. It's not have taken any vow or binding them with anything. You will not do it, you will not divorce, you will not know. There's no need for divorce because there is no marriage. And many of you fathers, because you are religious or spiritual, you think this thing makes sense. You are selling your daughters. Oh, my daughter, I train you in the school so that you can marry a rich man. You are evil. A young woman who was sold by her father, they don't even allow the mother to have say. I was discussing that before I came to work. I came back from work. My co-worker talking about a woman. He said, um, women, men are stronger than women or that. I said, no, it's not true. He said, yeah, men have X, Y, and S and Y. The women only have one. I said, and so? I say, and so? Did they check every woman, every person on earth? He said, study. They study that they are telling you what they find out. That's not the whole truth. I asked him, are you stronger than all the women, or you think there's no woman that can beat you up mercilessly? And this is the problem. And these are people that are claiming to be spiritual and religious. They believe the nonsense in the Bible. I say, he said, I'm not religious. I said, don't you believe in the Bible anymore? He said, yes, I believe in the Bible. I said, don't you believe in God anymore? Yes. I said, what is religion? He said, I don't know what religion. I don't practice religion. Oh, man. Telling you that a man is above woman is evil. There is something you have, woman don't have, and there's something woman have, you don't have. That doesn't make you above her and her beneath you. No. It is evil we have normalized. Mothers raising their daughters to be ready to be sold as slaves. She take her daughter, hand it over to her husband. Then the husband hand her over to her new husband. That cycle keep going like that. And we're going to say you will have freedom. When you are intimidating women, you will never be free until women are free. You enslave them. Don't you know that's like they are, you are positive, you are the negative. Women are the positive and the men are the negative. You don't know that. You think the physical strength you have, that's all you have? Carry their pain, you will. That's why they tell you, your God to say that you will multiply their pain. Bullshit. Because men cannot dare carry such pain. You only carry brocos and you make him noise and when something. I'm above women. How dare? That's why women are beggars today. Men are even insulting them. Women and the money. Every time money, give me money. Yes, because you didn't allow them to live like you are living. You put them under you. That's why when they come to America and begin to make that money, they throw you away. Tell you, get away from here. I'm not a slave. Ask any woman that came from Africa, grown woman, came to America as adult. Tell them, okay, if you want me to marry you, will you be submissive to me? They will tell you, I don't want to be a slave. I will never be a slave to any man. She's making her own money. Here you see young girls driving their own machine. They bought it with their money, and some of them pay cash. They work though, not that it was given to them. They labor, they work. Because they went to school, then they're paying them high money. Somebody that just came out from university and making over 100,000 every year. Why, like me, that I've been in America for 20 years, I'm still struggling with the $20 per hour bullshit. This Uber, and some of them using it to even do Uber. That Mercedes you driving in Nigeria, they're using it as Uber. One day my daughter came out, Mercedes drop her. I said, one of your friends dropped you. He said, no, it's Uber. Oh, your Tesla, they're using it as Uber. Because you don't know, they buy it and they're using it to make money also, to be paying it off. But in Nigeria, how dare you, woman? How dare you know? I must pay for the meal, or blah blah. One day I took a woman out here. After eating, she asked me, "Do you want us to split the bill of it?" That African nonsense came to my mind. I said, "Don't worry, I will pay." And he paid me after I paid because she don't agree now. So I be like, this thing, I just wasted my money. But at least she offered. I'm the one that so I don't blame her. Mm. A young woman who was sold by her father doesn't gain her freedom in the same way that a man does. And a woman or a young girl, when you read this, you still believe in that God of the Bible, that God of the Torah, that God of the Quran. You still believe in such God. These things are in these three holy books. This is all about Abrahamic religion. So the man, I mean, when the boy is sent to go and serve, he will go free after 6 years. Then on the seventh year, he will go free, right? But if it's a girl, she will not go free as the man. No, she remain. God is evil. If she doesn't please the man who bought her to be his wife, a wife is a slave. If you like, keep arguing, idiot. If you're a woman, you say you are a wife, you are a slave. Stop desiring to be a slave because they want to provide for you. I will read it here. That's why you remain in slavery because they're providing for you. My husband, Ogam, hey, my husband, Odogum, he provides a bike car for me. He sent me on holidays, I go party every day. He's got me, how much he spends on me every day? Happy slave. And they train you. You become instrument of shame and the blame to other women that are not married. You begin to shame them. See, you go marry now, let me see. You feel married, slave. Oh, man, these people mess us up. They mess us up, man, and it's too deep. I'm telling you, if you have not tried this, you will know how deep this is, and that's why some people give up after several trials. They be like, "Oh, our people can never wake up." This is part of it. We normalize all this nonsense, and they are part of chains holding us in slavery. But listening to Jesus, they tell you to come to save the world. No wife, no children. You don't think. People that will save Africa, the Messiah, no wife, no children. I tell you, they want you to be having children because the moment you have a child, you change. No matter what you say you're claiming before, that's why they can buy you now. Oh, I need money to pay my children's school fees. They say, yeah, come. This man wants us to go and snatch that polling boss, They will pay you, they will give you, okay, this is 50 or 500,000. When we finish, you get the other 500. Yeah, okay. I'll say, okay, I will try it. The man that been claiming to be a man of integrity. Yeah, no, you cannot buy me. Every man has a private, not me. I'm different. And you have family. Check if you want to succeed in doing anything, get a family man. Bad thing. There are people they never dream in their life they will even make any charm against somebody until they have children. I say, you know what? No, this one I must deal with this person. I have a lot of problem, and this one is coming to me. I will start killing you. Now you will see. These things are happening, and they have normalized it, not knowing why you will not have your freedom as a people, black man. If she doesn't please the man who bought her to be his wife, he must let her be bought back. Not let her go free, bought back. Woman, they divorce you, you marry another one. They divorce you, marry another one. I'm a wife. When I tell my woman, I don't want, you are not my wife anymore, it's when I was a Christian. You was my wife, I'm marrying you like that. But now, no, you are my woman. And she don't like it. Because I think they carry that thing as badge of honor. I don't care about that. It's like me now thinking about having a son. I must be stupid to do that. And I must be a hypocrite to do that. Son for what? For what? Inside this slavery. He will go the same school I went, and they will be teaching him the same nonsense, confusing him. Then when he come out, he will struggle with me. Maybe if I can't provide for him as I supposed to, he become a thief or something like that. They say, king. I'm happy too. A woman who will conceive says she got a boy. I'm happy she aborted it. I'm happy. I'm telling you, you may say, no, this guy, if you know me, you have at least, since I tell you I'm woke, follow everything I've said. Instead of me to maybe fall in, I increase in knowledge about that. Listen, she must be bought back. He said he cannot sell her to foreigners. This will break the contract he made with her. If he selects her, he said, if he selects her as a wife for his son, he must treat her as his own daughter. If the man later marries another woman, he must continue to provide food and clothing for the one he bought and to treat her as a wife. If he fails to do any of these things, she must be given her freedom without paying for it. This is why you see many women in slavery and they like it. You must be providing for them. Don't they use it to mock you as a man? You have not married. I don't blame you. Can you provide for a woman? No man is supposed to be providing for any woman. And no woman is supposed to be providing for any man. If they must, it must be mutual. Provide for me, I provide for you. That's how it's supposed to be. They have deceived you enough. You have defended their lies enough. At least learn from your sufferings and break free. You say, how may I survive? How will I survive? You can survive. At least if you move away first, you can survive. You survived before he also married you. You can survive. If you go to Deuteronomy 15, 12 to 18, the same thing. Slavery and racism. That's what is the slavery and racism are one. Racism, white people brought into the world, is from slavery. And you think that the slave master will let the slave go? No. My race will dominate your race. That is the religion of dominion. He created them and gave them dominion. And they have dominion over you. How dare you think you can be like us? How dare you think you can beat us? We are the masters. You are the slave. Jeremiah 34. Jeremiah. Oh, wicked God. From the fire you bear. 34. Oh, 8 to 14. He said, King Zedekiah, his officials, and everyone else in Jerusalem made an agreement to free all Hebrew men and women who were slaves, not foreign men and women who were slaves. Africans, wake up, think. No Jew would keep another as a slave. And so all the Jewish slaves were given their freedom. Keep reading. But those slaves owners changed their minds and forced their former slaves back into slavery. Yeah, we give them freedom. There are no more slaves, declare emancipation. Okay. All right. Yeah, Betty, we colonize them. Yeah, we colonize them. This one is my part. This one is your part. This one remain under us. So they signed the agreement. That's how you remain. Hmm. They changed their minds and forced their former slaves back into slavery. We are back into slavery. That is when the Lord told me to say to the people, I am the Lord God of Israel, not God of Africa, not God of other people, only God of Israel. And I made an agreement with your ancestors when I brought them out of Egypt, where they had been slaves, which is a lie. There were no slaves in Egypt. In the history of Africa, in the history of Egypt, there's no slave there before Arabs and Europeans came. As part of this agreement, you must let a Hebrew slave go free after 6 years of service. Your ancestors did not obey me, but stupid God that people you created cannot obey you. You are stupid. Huh? Your ancestors did not obey me. But you decided to do that in my blah blah saying all like that. Oh, you changed your mind and brought this. Where were you when they changed their mind? Oh, God knows the mind. You know that it's a lie. God don't know your heart. God don't know anything. God don't know you. Stop lying and deceiving yourself. Leviticus 25. Go back there. Slavery and racism. You cannot separate them. You can only deceive yourself, claiming, yeah, they are different. It's a different thing. Leviticus 25. Ekele mba na ha nọ. Mekaniki ekweghị ka ị mara ka ndị ara na agha dị n'iche n'iche. Okay, from verse 42, I will read to 48. He said, I brought them out of Egypt to be my servants, see, to be my slaves. God brought the people of Egypt, Israel, out of Egypt to be his slaves, not to be sold as slaves. They're already mine. Don't say them as slaves. I bought them already. So obey me and don't be cruel to the poor. Listen, if you want slaves, buy them from other nations. Slavery and racism. If you want slaves, buy them from other nations or from the foreigners who live in your own country and make them your property. White supremacy, racism is slavery. You can own them and even leave them to your children when you die, but do not make slaves of your own people or be cruel to them. Hey, this is part of the thing Africans don't want to learn. And that is black people problem. They don't want to see how these people are doing this. You have to learn to be cruel too. If you want to get it back, learn from them. They want you to be their property. What is your response? The Lord is good. If it is the will of God, okay. They're happy. Okay, see, God is good. God is good. Oh yeah, you see, the master say Lord is good, and we slaves say Lord is good. The Lord is good. They know all the. Hmm. Even if, even if some of you Israelites become so much in debt that you must sell yourself to foreigners in your country, you still have the right to be set free by a selective by a relative such as a brother or uncle or cousin or some other family members. Racism. No, the foreigners, they are supposed to be your property. No, even if you're an Israelite, a poor Israelite saying save to foreigner, he still have the right of freedom. But the foreigners don't have the right. of life, right to freedom, life of freedom. They don't. It's only the Israelites have it. Racism and slavery. African nations have no right of redemption. They don't, because they're foreigners. The right of redemption is only for the Israelites, not for Africans, not for foreigners. They have no right. They have no right of redemption from slavery, white supremacy. Genesis 11, 1 to 9, white supremacy. Judges 18, read the whole chapter, white supremacy. People that were greater and mightier than them, they came and destroyed them and became masters. Build every institution like that. So if you say you want to come, you know how many stories how you'll be falling before you get there. You will never achieve that freedom. Wake up. So let me talk about the New Testament excuses. The excuse that mostly Christians will give you today. Oh, no. Slavery was in the Old Testament. It was old time. Now, it's the new covenant. Now, no more. God, Jesus is against slavery. It's a lie. Jesus supported slavery in the Bible. And I will show you. Welcome. Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Tell me you don't know it. That Jesus supported slavery. Say, no, it's not true. Where? Let me show you. 5:19. He said, oh, no, wait. I made mistake. Let me start reading from verse 17. He said, don't suppose I came to do away with the law and the prophets. And I've shown you in the book of the law and the prophets, book of Jeremiah, Exodus, and Deuteronomy, Leviticus. I've shown you about is the law of God. God gave them those laws. And Jesus said, don't think I came to do away with the law and the prophets. I did not come to do away with them, but to give them their full meaning. Did Jesus have anyone from another race as his disciple in your Bible? That's racism, right? Or you say it's not racism? It is. It's supposed to be for all nations, right? So it's supposed to pick from every nation to fulfill the nonsense. Jesus said he did not come to do away with the slavery laws. No, he came to give them their full meaning. Their full meaning that all of you are slaves to my daddy. That's it. Matthew chapter 5 verse 17. Jesus did not come to destroy the law. He came to fulfill it. That's what Jesus came for. And black man, you believe in Jesus. Black woman, you believe in Jesus. The symbol they used to destroy you as a people, enslave you physically and mentally and otherwise. You believe it. In Luke chapter 12, verse 51 to 53, Jesus said, do not think I come to bring peace. No, I came to bring division. I will turn people in families against themselves. Look at our families in Africa today and tell me it's not what is happening. White supremacy. The family we have and whatever we have in Africa today have been dented with white supremacy. He said he came to bring division, not development. Division. Scatter you. You stop building. You live, the sense you used to build the tower disappear. The sense you have now is to worship. Oh, Most High, there's Most High God. Oh, Most High, Lion of Judah. In Luke 14:26, Jesus also said that if you don't hate your family members and yourself, you cannot be his disciple. Worse slavery. You sell yourself and to Jesus. You remember one year we shared the video of a small boy in Africa, in Nigeria, in Igbo land, saying he has sold himself to Jesus. You know, all he needed the Bible and the public address system. He's going about preaching Jesus. Small boy that cannot feed himself. And people say, yeah, please bring money. Hey, please, this is the account number. You know, support him. And they will. They will make him even billionaire overnight. You will see. Because he will grow, and become like all those criminals we have in Igbo land there. Eh? You have to hate them and hate yourself. That's the worst slavery. You're telling me Jesus did not support slavery. Romans chapter 6:22. He says you are slaves of God. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 6. He says serve them, as slaves of God. Ye are slaves of God, not slaves of men, although you are under men. Read it, Ephesians chapter 6. Serve your earthly master. Obey your earthly master. Because you are slaves of God. Don't see it, you are slaves of men. No, you are slaves of God. That's the trinity of slavery. Slaves of God, slaves of Jesus, and slaves of men. And that's the gospel, according to Paul also. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. You tell me, oh, New Testament did not support slavery. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. Let me read it with NIV, right? NIV, okay. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 8 says, slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. Aye. Evil. Ephesians chapter 6, showing you that New Testament supports slavery. It never abolish it. But they tell you God will abolish the devil, but not, not slavery. Oh man, 6 verse 7, right? No, 6 verse 5. Slaves. He said, slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you will obey Christ. Slave masters. Remember, I told you about this. They are doing it, okay, in the name of God. He took the slave in the presence of God. And that's where they will anoint him to be a slave for life. In the presence of God, in reverent fear of God, serve your master as though you are serving Christ. Hey, Titus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2, verse 9. He said, teach slaves to be subject. Come on, say school's educational system. They are teaching slaves. When you go to school, they are teaching slaves. Wake up, Africans. Teach slaves to be subject to their masters in everything, whether they like it or not. They have to be subject to their masters. The same thing, children to parents, slavery. He said, to try to please them, not to talk back to them. Shut up when they're talking. I do not permit women to speak in the church. Shut up. Slavery. Church is slavery. Everything about God and Jesus is slavery. Hmm. Colossians chapter 3, verse 22. Colossians chapter 3, verse 22. Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eyes is on you and to corner their favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. Reverence for the Lord. Obey your earthly master. It's not spiritual slavery, no, earthly slavery. Whether you say it is Old Testament or New Testament, it's the same bullshit. Anyone or anything that supported or supports slavery is evil. It doesn't matter who that person is, it doesn't matter what that thing is. If you say you don't support slavery, but you're supporting somebody that supports slavery, and they talk, you keep quiet, you won't challenge them. You say, no, 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 no. My people, we all need to know that no one was born to be a slave or a master to another. No one was born to be a slave or a master. We have to abolish slavery, and every form of slavery, we have to do away with them. And you think it's something you just blow grammar and you got it. No. Slaves and masters are not part of life. Let us dissolve it. We must destroy the evil system and build the natural system where we all live together as family, not as neighbors. Pardon?